Hello, people. We are here. I am live. And Christy should be in any second. Give me just a second to see where she's at. Hello. How is everybody doing this morning? Let's see where Christy is at. I think I did not necessarily send her the right link. I think I sent her the old link. And so let me start off with saying I apologize for that. So we are in a bit of a pickle until we change and fix this. I have been researching different ones to use. So, and I am going to not have all the cameras on me. Hello, I don't need to do that. I can just do this. That would work just fine. And then we got some little mascots here, I think. I'm going in and out with my mic. I don't know why that's doing that, but we will see. Let me see if I can see these guys. And let me see where Christy is. Hello, Christy. Hello, Christy. Okay. Let me find out why it's not going over. Let me see. Okay, let's see if that goes there. Boom, boom, boom. How is everybody this morning? It is Tuesday. It feels like Monday. It does not feel like a Tuesday to me. But that's because, I don't know, because it's, I guess because I was on a trip or something, but it just feels like I'm kind of behind the eight ball or something. I'm a little bit, worn out and tired. Let's see. I got that down there. Okay. Let's see. There's the doggos. There's the doggos. Say hi, doggos. Hi, doggos. Hi, doggos. That is Jethro and Charlotte, by the way. Charlotte is my black lab. She is my service dog. Jethro is named after Leroy Jethro Gibbs. His full name is Leroy Jethro Gibbs from NCIS, my husband's favorite show. And Jethro is a blue heeler, and he is my husband's dog. And we commonly refer to him as our Velociraptor because he is pretty much a Velociraptor. So there's Christy. I knew she was going to be here. Hi, how are you this morning?
I'm here. How are you?
I know you have physical therapy this morning.
I do. Thank
for your
goodness.
shoulder.
Finally going to get started on this shindig. Yep.
Yeah, hopefully that does some good quickly.
Yeah.
Doesn't always happen quickly, but
No.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm Tori, and I'm the host of Girl Talks, and we talk about everything and anything. I am a veteran, first responder. I'm married to a Marine, and pretty much everybody in my house, if I just named off all the Marines, I would just keep going. So everybody's a Marine except for me and my dad. We were Army. And we have a nonprofit for veterans. It's dealing with art and PTSD, and art is a great therapy. And you can kind of consider journaling somewhat of an art too. There are people who have taken journaling to a totally different level where they draw in their journals as well. Some even do journaling with art. It's art journaling. If you've ever heard of it, if you haven't, it's amazing. You get a journal, You can use a regular journal, or they have ones that have a little bit thicker paper. And instead of writing, you draw a picture, or you paint a picture, or you color a picture, whatever, however you want to do it. I really am hating the lighting in here right now, because I have so much light over here and nothing over here, so I look all shadowy. We have so many lights in here, and I can't get the lights under control. It's driving me a little bit bonkers. So that's okay. It'll happen.
If I can do this. Oh, I'm blind. We can fix
Blinded
this.
by the light.
Hi.
And you look pretty good. So who's
I
that?
know. It's that little Jesse just walked in the room. It's
Hi,
that
Jesse.
little square thing that you
Oh,
gave me.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
the only
yeah.
one I use, but it's right behind the camera. So like when it hits, I'm like, "Ugh."
Yeah,
It's-
it
it's
does
great.
great for lighting, though.
It's so good. I love it so much. It's
But
sheer
it is
magic.
I have 4 of them in my face, and
Yeah.
I can turn this one down because holy crap, I don't need it to be that that bright.
Oh.
I want to get up and turn it down. I think it's going down a little bit. I can't see anything anymore. I just see bright lights in my face. But we're getting ready to reconfigure the studio.
I think that'll help a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Because like right now I'm looking at my computer screen and all the notes that I took, and I think it'll be really helpful for not getting lost in the conversation, because I take notes and then I can't see them when I'm at the studio, and then I'm like, yeah, we're just gonna roll. So
yeah.
this might be helpful.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the reconstruction here of
Me too.
what we're
Me
going to
too.
do.
Absolutely.
But anyway, this is Christy. She is a Marine mom. I'm a Marine wife. I am not going to let her introduce herself because she just goes, "Hi, I'm Christy."
I always screw it up. I have significant things to say, but it's just, whatever.
No,
I'm so important. I don't need an introduction. How's that?
I like that. That works. Hey, I'm going to go with that one. Okay,
Yeah,
that's Christy.
That's what we're rolling with today.
That bitch is so important. She don't need shit.
Yeah.
And
We're buying it. We're buying it.
I'm selling it, so whatever. So anyway, we for the month of
Absolutely.
February, we are talking about self-love and
Yes.
ways that you can do self-love that can promote healing as well as growth. Like, not everything about mental health or things to do in that realm are 100% about just healing.
Right.
Some of them are, you've already managed to get to a point of healing and you need something for growth. So,
Right.
Journaling, I think, can do both. It can, you can have healing journaling where it's really just really being raw and talking about your traumas and talking about the things that you don't want anyone to ever read, like, please burn
Right.
that with me in when I'm cremated, kind of
Right.
thing. And then there's when you get to another stage where you have healing and growth, and then you can get to the third stage of where you really just need growth.
Right.
Growth, I think, also comes with reflection, because you
Right.
can't grow unless you can reflect back on things. And I look at it like, you talk about people that say forgiveness is for you, not for them. And then
Right.
it's like, well, I can't forgive them because I can't let them off the hook, or I don't want to forget about it. That's where reflection comes in. You can
Right.
reflect on those things that you've, that made you. That's the way I look at
Right.
it. Those are the things that made you.
Right.
I am a very strong person, and for some people, they take my demeanor as crass or harsh. But do you ever stop to think about what got me here?
Right.
Like, why is she that way? Why is she? I knew there was something glasses, but I couldn't see it. Took it off. Didn't see anything on there. Put them back on. Sure enough, there's something there. But what got her here? Why
Right.
is she so tough and loud and whatever? Have you ever stopped to think about what has caused her? And I've done that. I've had to do that reflection of, why am I this way? I swear like a sailor. And I try not to, but just like automatic, don't take me to
Right.
church and tell me to be quiet, because,
Don't bring me around your grandma or put me on speakerphone. It's
I
never
might
pretty.
act, and I do try. Like, I know well, for instance, I spoke in DC at a conference. This stuff I'm very passionate about. That's part of my loudness, is it's passion. But I knew the stage I was on. I knew I
Right.
needed to have a certain professionalism, and I still let the F bomb fly out. And I was quickly forgiven for it, but I was the
Right.
one they didn't bleep out.
Right.
But it's like, what made her this way? Well, are there things from my childhood that made me this way? And then are there things from adulthood? Well, I've always worked in a male environment. Everything I've ever done has been male oriented. So, except for maybe journalism, because journalism isn't 100% male.
Right.
And medicine isn't. There's a lot of nurses and doctors that are female and stuff, but it's a primarily male field. I worked with very few females over my careers.
Right.
And but I have journaled a lot of my life. I've
Right.
written, and I tell you what, when you do some self-reflection, I just read one of my journals the other day, because I still have most of my journals. I don't have all of them, but I have most of them.
That's very
And
brave.
I picked one up and I opened it up, and man, was I in a dark place at that time, because those were all very dark, very
Right.
self-loathing, they were ugly. And I was
Yeah.
like, boy, I don't want nobody to read this shit.
Right.
I
Yeah.
look like an insane person.
Right.
I look like I'm ready to put the noose up.
Right.
I mean, and that's where I think journaling can help you through even those moments, like when you
Right.
are that dark, because when I reflect on it and look back at it, yeah, I read it and I was like, wow, I was in a bad place and that was really dark. But I looked at it like, look where I am now. Look at how I came through that. Look at how I conquered that problem and that era, that season, people say. I conquered that, and I didn't let it take me completely down,
Right.
So I think that people have to understand how to use a journal, when to use a journal, and why to use a journal.
Right. So if we go into what journals are good for, we can look at how they're good for reducing stress. They're good for improving your mood. They're good for, like you said, becoming more self-aware. And they can increase and assist in managing your depression and your depression symptoms, right?
Yeah.
And then we can talk about how to use them. So, when you're using them, you need to look at what type of journals there are and decide which one you want to use for whatever reason.
Right.
So I took 8. There are probably hundreds of different versions that we could look at. I grabbed just a handful. of journals that we're going
Mhm.
to talk about. But there's just deciding which ones you want to use, scheduling a time or a routine, and essentially like I'm gonna write down in the morning, say my affirmations
Mhm.
for the morning or my gratitude journal. And then most importantly, the most important two things are don't overthink it and then start writing. That's the
Right.
most important.
Right. Um,
Um,
my best friend's daughter,
mhm.
Kristen's daughter, has been journaling, and
Yeah,
she talked about some really great parts of journaling and how it has really helped her grow. And because of the type of journaling that she's doing, and she does a lot of holistic healing, and
yeah,
she lives in Hawaii, which she has some amazing places to, reflect and, you
yeah,
know, you can go find a nice place to sit and have a good view and journal. And I mean, there's nowhere better than Hawaii.
right,
But it's really, really cool because she pulled it up the other day and she's like, look, did the same thing I did. She was looking at it and she was reflecting on how much she has changed and how much her journaling has helped her. Yeah.
right,
And
yeah,
because of that, she's also like, I've learned what parts of this journal I don't like and
hmm,
what things I would like in my journal and
yeah,
available prompts and stuff like that. So she's actually developing her own journal to sell
nice,
because she's like, there are certain things that are missing and certain things I need.
right,
And sometimes the prompts are super helpful
absolutely,
with that. And so you're going to go into some of the types of journals,
yep,
and I may have a couple add in there too. So,
yeah. Now, and I'm gonna say for me, because like you were talking about how she's kind of played with it a little bit. I legitimately went through at one point and just went, these are the things that I need in my daily life, and decided to make it into um, part of almost like my planner.
right, right.
So, and then just added it as part of my planner and my daily thing. Everybody's got to make it their own. What works for them works for them. And it may not even be the first time, So play with it, make it yours. What works for you may not work for somebody else. It's yours. Um, so the most popular journals, I think, especially with the wellness hype and whatever, is the affirmation journal and the gratitude journal.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, those are getting up every morning or before you go to bed. And I think those are really important ones to do each day at some point during your day. Just looking at, and they can turn your day around so quickly. So it just having it, taking a second at any point during your day and taking kind of like a inventory check and saying thank you
Yeah,
for
yeah.
what you have. And writing it down is important. Bullet journaling is amazing. And what that means, it's just a blank piece of paper and you just write down anything. Literally, it can be your schedule, it can be random thoughts, it can be interactions. Essentially, it's just note taking of your day. So it's a great way for anyone with ADHD. What my journal ended up being at one point was just, especially when I was working, was this is who I talk to, this is the results of that, and this is my to-do list for the next day. And it just kind of ended up being a trail for the next day. So it's a great, trail add-on for whatever. A fitness and a wellness journal for anyone who's thinking about maybe trying to keep track of things. This is something that's great for anyone who maybe doesn't feel well but can't figure out why.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime someone says, you know what, I think I'm sick, but I go to the doctor and my doctor tells me they're no and they're not going to run tests, start keeping track of like, well, this is how many times I'm going on a walk every week and this is what I'm eating. So when your doctor
Right.
says,
This is
well,
how much water I'm drinking.
yeah, so that way when your doctor says, well, you're just overweight, you can say, well, this is what I can say to you to counteract what you're saying. And this
Right.
is what I'm doing to be proactive so that you can't, to get the test and to show that you are trying. But also to be, what's the word? Oh
Well,
God,
I think if
what's the
you're
word?
I think if you're more cognizant too of what you're doing by writing it down, mentally you could maybe have a hard time writing down I'm eating a Snickers bar.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So instead and if you're like me, I don't like to lie to
Right.
anyone, but I really don't like to lie to myself.
You don't want to say you're running a
So
marathon
I'm
today.
not. No. I feel like it. I feel like I already
Right?
did.
What? Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I mean, like my husband, like I have to keep track of food and eating because I don't
Yeah.
eat. I don't like food.
Yeah.
I don't eat. I don't eat well. And my husband will text me, "What have you eaten today?"
Right.
And I
Right.
won't lie to him. So I will
Right.
run and go make something.
So
And
you
I'll go
can say
make
you
some
ate.
like avocado
Absolutely.
toast or a bowl of cereal. And luckily for me, like I do eat cereal, but what my husband calls it is cardboard cut up
Right.
into pieces because I like shredded wheat. I like, yeah. The only one that I
Jesse's
think,
the same way. It grosses me out so bad. Ugh.
but I like oatmeal. I like the,
S'mores, 100% s'mores cereal. That is my cereal. I am the
well,
junk food addict.
and other, my husband, Lucky Charms, this thing,
See,
that thing, like yeah,
you and Jesse can go that way. Steve and I will go camping over here
yeah,
with our
yeah,
with our junk food pile. We'll be fine.
well, we need to go camping this next summer.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we're gonna see who's sitting next to each other to eat because Jesse and I are gonna be sitting there having. Well, I mean,
All the
granted,
good things.
Steve makes some really amazing eggs and omelets, even
Yeah.
camping.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I like really healthy. I like Raisin Bran is probably the closest one my husband will eat, but he doesn't like that either. But like I eat grape nuts, grape nut flakes. Those are my favorites. And
Oh my God,
he's
that's
like,
so grown up.
he's like, that's so wrong. Like I don't even like Cheerios; they're too sugary for me.
Oh my goodness sakes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's so good. I'm so proud of you.
It's
I'm
not a
so proud
pride
of
thing.
you.
It's what I've always liked. It's
That's good.
but those are
It's
things that
good.
you can reflect on too when you're reflecting
Right.
on those things.
Absolutely.
What caused this? What makes this?
Right.
And I tell you what, when I make a bowl of now I do cheat just that much when I make my shredded wheat, and it's because of my dad. Now, so my dad
Right.
ate shredded wheat. And I will eat the little shredded wheat squares as well as the full pieces of shredded wheat. But I don't like the sugar ones. I don't like the ones
Right.
with the sugar on them, just the plain. But my dad always put one small teaspoon of quick chocolate sprinkled over the top,
Oh,
and it was really good. But that's a mental thing about my dad. My
Sure.
dad.
Right.
I have some great memories, and a
Yeah.
lot of it is geared towards food. I'm
Right.
learning that a
See,
lot
look
of
at
it's geared
us.
towards food because
Yeah. And that's really common.
yeah, because a lot of my time with my dad was a lot of it was visiting. So what do you do when you visit people? You
You
eat.
eat, you drink. Yeah, absolutely.
I lived with my dad
Alcohol
off and
and food.
on. Yeah, and I lived with my dad off and on, but I didn't live with him full time my whole life. So, quite often I equate a lot of things to that. Certain places I like to eat when I'm back home are because of my dad. But at the same time, like there's certain things that I cook because it was the way my dad cooked it and it's the way my
Right.
dad made it. So there's a lot of connection there on those things. And when I have journaled about eating, I do find it very difficult for myself because I don't eat a lot and it makes me feel kind of bad because I don't want to lie, but like my journal's blank. Like, what did you
So
eat
could
today?
you do the opposite of journaling and do a goal journal and put this is what I want to eat and then journal and this is me being
I don't
obnoxious and
know if I
bitchy and I'm
could.
sorry.
I would try, but I don't know if I could because like literally I would put the goal, what would you like to eat? Food? Because
So like
I don't have
maybe
any cravings. I don't,
like be spec-
I I I have a very difficult time with that because if people ask me, well, what do you? I don't like anything.
right, you
So
have to get over that and you just have to make a menu
yeah. That's what
and
I
just
have
put
to
it
do.
in there and set an
Yeah,
alarm and say at this time I'm and put on your alarm on your phone. I'm gonna eat and don't even make it like um big meals. Just make it like
right,
at this time I'm gonna eat a banana and at this time I'm gonna eat a cup of carrots. You know what I mean? Just go like that.
right.
Or I'm gonna eat
That
like a
is
slice of ham or something, like just
well,
that way.
and for me also doing it for like what we were talking about recently that we
Yeah.
were going to do it for to see if we could eliminate things that might be
Yeah.
affecting me. So if I
Yeah.
journal that I ate this
Yeah.
and then
And
I
see how it
felt like
affects you.
this,
Yeah.
I felt bloated or
Belly. Yeah.
gross or whatever, or I had to go to the bathroom in 10 minutes or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something in that is causing those problems. So maybe
Yeah.
I take that and then I could keep a
Exactly.
list of the things that I had
Yeah. And see
where
which ones
I
are where
noticed
you're
an
feeling
issue.
energy and where you're feeling like sluggish and whatever.
Right,
Cause yeah,
right,
and then you're really keeping documentation of that.
right,
Yeah,
right.
that's a good idea. See, we're geniuses. We got this.
Yeah, we're figuring
Uh,
it out.
absolutely. Yeah. So then of course there's the reflective journal. So that's kind of part of that reflective journal. There's your daily journal where you're talking about things that are going on in your day. One that I find super hilarious. My brother used to keep this one. It was a dream journal. Have you ever done dream? I do not dream journal. Have you ever done a dream journal?
No, I have not. And I dream, so I
Right.
could probably do like I've come up with some pretty good stories from my dreams. I've had some
Right. Like,
scary moments from my dreams, but
right.
um,
Yeah. Like there was something I dreamt last night and I was like, I need to write that down because that was really important and I'm going to need it later. And I was like, I'm going to remember it because it was so important
and now
and
you've
so
forgotten it.
random. I just realized I have no idea what that was, but I'm going to remember it like in a week because it's whatever it was is something that's going to happen soon. I know that much. Like it was so important. Um, but yeah, like, and it like, but yeah, like, or like, we've talked about it before too. My brain talks to me in the middle of my sleep and I'll be like,
Yeah,
I'm not sleeping because my brain is talking. There's no way I'm sleeping right now because my brain is telling me things, you know?
right.
So it keeps me up all night. So, dream journaling, I think is great. But the problem for me is that like, if I get up to write things down, I'm not going back to sleep. I've been up since 3:30 this morning because my brain decided to wake me up to tell whatever that dream was.
And then you forgot it.
And then I didn't write it down.
Well,
I should have.
that's me too. Like if I fall asleep, quite often if something wakes me up, it's very very rare that I can get fully back to sleep.
Right.
So and if I started to journal
You'd
because
be
of
up.
whatever woke me up, I would be even more or less likely to go back to sleep because now
Exactly.
and I always used to keep, and I haven't done it for a little while. I need to probably get back to it, but I used to always keep a notebook and a pen next to the bed
Right.
because quite often, sometimes while I'm laying there and not sleeping, I'm coming up with song lyrics. I'm
Right.
coming up
See,
with,
and that's where my
yeah.
frustration is because I feel like if I put it down, I could probably go to sleep.
Well, and I will say that is one thing that these things have come in handy lately is
Yeah.
I have the one that has a pen on it.
Yes.
So I can
See,
just quickly write
or
on
like
my
a voice
screen.
record or whatever. Yeah.
And I have the voice record on this
Yeah.
too. So and I can
Excuse me.
quickly, just push the button and record my thoughts, and then later I can go and actually put it in my journal or whatever. Now I have read some of the shit that I've written when I've been woke up by an idea or a thought, and I wrote it down because it was a masterpiece. It was
Right.
incredible. It was amazing. And then I got up and read what I wrote the night before,
And
and
you're
I'm
like,
like, what the fuck?
see, and that's my issue is I'm like,
It
I
makes
know
no
I'm gonna read it
sense.
the next day and or like listen to it the next day. I'm gonna be like, what was
What the
that?
fuck
Because
was I on? Like, was I
without
microdosing
question,
in the middle of my sleep?
without question, I'm gonna be like, what was that mumbo jumbo? Because no, that was like a blah, 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 blah.
It's like the one time, and I don't talk a lot about weed and stuff because I'm not a weed smoker, never have been. Tried it like 3-4 times in my entire life. Don't like how it makes me feel. Don't like any of that. My ex-boyfriend convinced me to try it. I don't know what kind it was or whatever, but I was at his friend's house and I was sitting in a chair and I was not very long before I was sitting there, mouth open, drooling on myself
All right.
and like non-functional. Like I could tell myself, you're gonna get up and you're gonna walk across the room, and my brain would be catching up, going, "Yeah, we're coming." And never did we get up. I mean, I
No.
just sat there drooling,
No.
and so I don't know what kind it was. Later, he was like, "That was not the right type for
Probably
you."
indico. Or in the couch. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I was into couch.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it was horrible. And so the next time he was like, dude, you should, I'm like, no,
I'm good. Thanks.
no,
Yeah.
thanks. I don't want to do that shit again. I didn't like
Yeah.
it because I felt like I was so out of control. Like
Right.
anyone could have done anything to me because I just wouldn't have had any
Right.
ability to stop it,
Right.
At least
And
that's where
not okay.
that's what my brain thinks, and I'm too big of a control freak to want to do that.
Yeah.
But years before that, when I was getting out of the army, somebody gave me a joint in a velvet box, just one
Nice.
single joint in a velvet box as my get out of the army thing. And I just set it on my desk. Like I wasn't going to ever do it. I just thought it was kind of a cool thing. I mean, as a former police officer, I'm thinking, yeah, I probably just shouldn't have this here. And it was before so many places were illegal.
Right.
So technically it was a crime to have it even sitting there. So, it sat there. And eventually at some point in time, I did get the, why not? Like I don't have to report to anybody. My eyes are hurting today. So
Oh, no.
I was like, why not? So I did. I smoked just a little tiny bit of it. Oh my God. That made me cough. It was horrible. But then I started writing and writing and writing. I was like, oh my God, this is genius. Like this opened up this world of creativity. I'm going to write a novel right here. I'm going to write the next Harry Potter or the next Lord of the Rings in this
I
in
want a magic pill like that.
moment
I
of
do.
clarity.
I want that. I want that. I want that.
It was amazing because I wrote like
I want that. So
I think I wrote like 30 pages for a novel
yeah.
in
and
like I don't remember how quick it was, but I mean like I was just
I mean, it felt like
writing.
2 seconds. It felt like, or did it feel like 10 hours? Did it feel like 10 seconds?
No, it didn't feel like 10 hours, but it felt like a bit of time. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, I just wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. I just couldn't stop. I could not stop. And finally, eventually, I stopped because I did finally get tired and I did finally go to bed. And the next day I read it and it was a bunch of gibberish bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
It was like it was like 10,000 ideas attached to each other. So none of them had anywhere to go. Like it was just a bunch of convoluted shit. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that again. I mean, it opened up this. Now there was some profound things in those, but like,
but nothing was together.
If you read it, you would, if you had gotten a hold of it and read it, you'd have thought this person is building a bomb somewhere. This person is doing something because this is a lot of bullshit. Because there was stuff about the government and there was stuff about this and there was stuff about, and then, I mean, like it went into sharks and it went in, it was all over the place.
That's not good.
But I think it opens up your mind to all the things that are going on. And I think that's what some of us feel like is there's so many things going on that they're not in compartments. So we don't know what they're.
Yeah.
They don't talk to each other either.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. True story.
So now I just bought it's a husband-wife journal. And it's called Pass It On Journal.
Okay.
So, no, Back and Forth Journal. So you open like the first page and it has the woman on one side, the man on the other. And it asks a question. She's supposed to answer it or write about it and then shut the book and set it down somewhere where he sees it and he'll open it and he'll answer his question. They are not the same question. That way he doesn't read yours and then just write the same thing.
Right.
It's a totally different question. It might be a question. It might be a thought. It might be a journal piece. It might be a reflection. It might be telling a story from when you were a kid. Like, tell me your favorite place you've ever been with your family or your favorite memory with your family. So it's just a way to open up some communication with couples and learn something about each other that you may not have ever learned, because some questions are not questions you just normally bring up. Like, hey, what's your favorite childhood memory? A lot of people don't, that's not a normal conversation. I mean, it'll come up in conversations if somebody's like, say your favorite childhood memory is going to the Grand Canyon with your whole family. And you had a great time, blah, 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 whatever. You rode on the train, you did this, you did that. Well, you're probably not going to just come out with, hey, guys, my favorite childhood memory is going on the train. But if somebody said, oh, we're going to the Grand Canyon this summer, have you ever been there? Oh, yeah, when I was a kid, I went, and it's like one of my favorite memories. We went and we were on the train and we did this. And, so that's normally how those kind of things come out. Or we just got back from the Grand Canyon. We had a great time. Oh, well, I went when I was a kid, something like that. Mm-hmm. And for me, like that particular one, I've been to the Grand Canyon. I cannot even tell you how many times. Like it is not even a thing. Like if somebody said, I want to go to the Grand Canyon, I'd be like, yeah, I don't want to go. Like it's boring to me.
Thanks. Yeah.
It's boring to me because I've been there so many times. The novelty has worn off for me. It's a big fucking hole in the ground now, but it's not. It is majestic. It is beautiful. there are some things to it. I would rather go to Havasupai Canyon, which is next door. Because it has a good hike down. It has beautiful waterfalls. It has natural pools in it. Like the natural pools are like different size hot tubs, and they have different temperatures in them, and they have this amazing waterfall that you can dive. Grand Canyon doesn't have that shit.
Right.
So, and I mean, it's technically a part of the Grand Canyon because it is connected to it, but it has an Indian tribe that lives down the Havasupai live actually down in the canyon.
Right.
God forbid there be a big flood down there. Well, you just ride the water up.
Right. No.
Right. Have a canoe ready at all times. But I mean, I've been to both. So if you asked me to go, I would go there before I would want to go to the Grand Canyon. So anyway, journaling can bring some of those things out where, and if you have a journal that has those prompts, I think some of those type of journals are actually really helpful because they can prompt you with the question. And I think some of those, I think they should have a little bit more than just like, what was your favorite childhood memory? It should have a first question, a middle question. What does it make you feel now? You know, like really dig a little deeper than just the main question. And most of them that I see is just the main question, but it doesn't dig any deeper. It doesn't give you the ability for reflection. It doesn't give you the ability for it. Does this cause anxiety ever? Does this cause you to have a negative feeling or positive feeling? Like it should ask you some questions with this. Is this childhood memory? It might be your favorite memory, but when you get into that story, does it cause a positive or a negative? Because do you then reflect and go, well, that's my only good memory? So then that could cause a negative spin after you tell that story. So I think there's something to the different ways that you can ask those questions in your way of journaling. And I think if you're going to do your own type, you know, using some of those thoughts in there of where you ask a main question, but ask follow-up questions, ask reflective questions, ask future questions. Like, is that a place you would ever want to take your children to share that memory with them? Or is that a place you would never want to take your children? You know, different things like that. The couple journal that we have, it also helps with like having date night things in it.
Yeah.
You know, so
so have you guys done this journal since? Have you done it?
We haven't started it. Okay. So I was planning on
starting it.
I was going to start it when I got back from the cruise. So I think I'll probably start it this week or this weekend. Okay. I think it's going to probably be something that we do only on the weekend. Like I'll write something on a Saturday and leave it for him next to the bed and I think that's what we're probably going to do is just write in it when you want to write in it. And then when you're done, set it next to the bed for the other person. Because then they know it's there. You're not like it's in some weird place that I'm never going to look for it on the piano. You know, I might see it there when I walk by the piano, but, you know, and I like that you can read what the other person wrote, but it has nothing to do with the question that's for you.
Right.
And I like that because I think if it was the same question for both, whoever wrote first, the other one's going to write something, you know, like what's your favorite date? What would you like to do on your favorite date? Read hers. I'd like to do that too.
Right.
You know, so I think it's good to have contrast, not
for sure,
not reflection.
I agree.
And what about you? Have you guys ever done a journal like that?
We have not done a journal like that. I feel like that would be a cause for a fight. Because one of us would not keep up with it, and it wouldn't be me. That just would so it just
The
won't walk
nice
into
part
me.
is it's really thin.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a lot of pages and it doesn't have a lot of space. So
Yeah.
it's like and it's like a silhouette of a girl and a silhouette of a boy, and it doesn't have a lot of space. So it's geared I think it's geared towards men that don't write a lot. I mean, look at our text messages. Okay, that's kind of a journal.
Right.
That's kind of a
Right.
journal when you think about it. It's a
Yeah.
reflection journal. Like I have all my text messages.
Right.
I don't delete them.
Yeah.
I mean, except for nonsensical ones and people I don't give a shit about. But like,
Yeah.
I can go into your text message, type in a search, and find anything that I've sent to you because it'll pop up because I don't delete my text messages. It's helpful in a fight with your husband too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
told you about that. No, you did not.
Right.
Google and keys, and every incident that had keys on it will come up.
Yep.
Okay, right here. See, I said I hung the keys up on the hook. Oh
Yeah.
shit, you're right.
Yeah.
I win, but and that one's never happened. That I just threw that out
Made
there,
that
but
up. Yep.
because most of the time it's going to be me who loses the keys. Okay. So that's kind of a form of journaling in a sense too, because you can go back and reflect on the conversation that you've had with somebody. And I type out a whole thing and my husband's will be, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wrote,
Thanks.
I wrote all
I wrote 20
of it.
pages. I wrote 20 pages.
And your response was okay, or yeah, that sounds good. Like you couldn't add to that anything. So like I have a feeling that like let's say the question was what's your favorite childhood memory, and mine was swimming. I would write a whole thing about swimming. My husband's would be swimming.
Right. Right.
No context, no location,
Right.
no age, no
Right.
date, no nothing. Just
No,
swimming.
with who, right. Just
Yeah.
swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if I put skiing, I would put, how I started skiing and, the first time I went skiing and I told the ski instructor, I hate this and I'm never doing this and I'm not doing it, and refused and sat on a rock. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And then skied and realized, ooh, this is a lot of fun. And then I skied the rest of my life. My husband would be, I don't like to ski. I mean, that would be it. There'd be no context to it, no understanding, no why. So when it comes to like gratitude journaling, so can you explain a little bit more on these types of journaling? We have gratitude journaling, we have bullet journaling, fitness wellness journaling, affirmation journal, mood journal, dream journal, daily journal, and reflective journaling. And then I just added couple journaling. And there's a new one that I have that I am going to work with my mom on, and it's called it's called the Death Journal.
Ooh.
It is.
Okay.
It's for people that are at the end part of their life, and that can be 1 year, it can be 5 years, but it's hey, and it literally says, "I'm dead. Now what?"
Yeah.
But it's their thoughts of what they would like from you, their favorite songs, where they want
you to execute.
what they want you to do, where their things are at that's important to them, what they would like to be buried in, their clothing. But it's also some stories. It's some
Yeah.
stories to tell. It's got a little history in it, and explaining why you feel this way about this. And it's actually, I mean, it's probably going to be a little bit tough to do, but
Oh, yeah.
you know,
It's
and
important to do.
but it's important to do. But it's in the form of just some document.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that there should be also a pet journal. You
Yeah.
know, like we have pets that we've lost. We have pets that we have, but what did they bring to you? Like what, you know, if you did a pet journal that was like, you started with the first pet you remember, what
Right.
do you remember about them and what did they give you, you know, and what did you take from them? And
Yeah.
then what did you use that towards the next time you had a pet? Because I think most of us have never had just one dog.
Right.
And it is, or a cat or whatever. It's very difficult to lose them. I mean, that
Yeah.
is a hard thing to go through. My brother just lost his service dog yesterday.
Oh.
Louie. God bless you, Louie. And very hard for him. Very hard for my brother. And I didn't realize this is the first one that my brother ever had to sit through
Oh.
as it happened. And that's very, very devastating. It's very hard. But what journaling might help you through that, because what did he give you?
Right.
What are you going to be your favorite memories of Louis? What,
Right.
you know, I have some favorite memories from Jezebel, which was my amazing Doberman. But I can talk about her now in a way that's different because of the joy she brought to me.
Right.
You know, because she did bring me such joy. And, you know, so I think there should be some type of animal journaling or pet journaling that you have. Because we have a lot of memories that are attached to our pets. And
Right.
most of us don't have just one pet that we've had in our life and we've never had another pet.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I know I don't. I've had numerous dogs, numerous cats. I've had all different animals. I have rabbits and a hamster and dogs now. And my husband keeps refusing to let me get the cow I want. So that's bullshit, is what I think.
Yeah.
I should get the cow. I was
Yeah.
promised there'd be cows
Yeah. And chickens.
and chickens.
And
I
a goat. I want a fainting goat.
I don't want a fainting goat because I learned from Kimberly they're just a paperweight.
Okay.
She's like, they're annoying.
Oh,
And,
that's
but
so fun.
she's like, they really are annoying. Like they do nothing but stand there and then faint. But I like the little pygmy goats, the little tiny goats. Of course,
Yeah.
I really want a Highland cow. I really want a Highland cow.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Now, of course, my husband does say like we're planning and wanting to, when he retires, which should be within a year. And I say within a year because if the government decides to do early retirements, and I mean like that, there's a retirement package they can do early. If they offer that, he's probably going to take it.
Right.
And it's not the thing that's out right now. But you know, that's another journal, like journaling what you would like to do on retirement, a retirement goal journal or a retirement journal. What you would want to do within the last year of work before retiring. What are goals that you might have? You know, are you saving up and you want to get an RV? Like, what do you need to do that? Are your plans when you retire to sell your house and go live full time in an RV? You know, like what would it take? What would you need to do that? Like we did that. Not retiring, but we did that. And I will tell you, I will never do it again. I have no problem. I have no problem having an RV and traveling, but I want a place to come home to.
Yeah.
And I have too much shit that I'm not willing to give away, get rid
Yeah.
of. We sold everything so that we would have very minimal stuff. And we put a whole crap ton of stuff in storage, which cost us a shit ton of money because you don't
Yeah.
realize you could have bought all new shit by the time you take it out of storage.
Yeah.
You know, so there's as we're talking about this, there's a lot more journals that you can make up on your own.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So can you give us a little bit more into these types of journalings, what they mean and what they're supposed to do or promote or help with?
So with the gratitude and the affirmation journal, those are kind of really a mental health check and or just a way to guide you in um, checking yourself or um, oh gosh, what would the word be? Kind of aligning yourself for the direction that you want to go. So
Okay.
one of the really great things about those two journals specifically is that when you're working with those two, you don't even have to have what you're saying thank you for or affirming yet. So with those two, um, you can say that you're speaking them into existence
Okay.
or you can. So, and that's why they
I want my
are
Highland cow.
right. You can say thank you for my cows. Thank you for, a lot. It's talking to the universe in a way that creating the space and the existence of what you're wanting and acknowledging what you have. Uh, so the most important thing I feel like most people should say and do is thank you for my health. Thank you for the relationships I have. Those are probably always the ones you want to say thank you for and
Right.
affirm. Just unless you don't give a shit about either, whatever, that's on you. I don't care. You do you, boo.
Fuck off.
Like, go for it.
Yeah.
But for me personally, obviously, making sure that I'm healthy and that I have strong relationships is extremely important. So, always having a home, always having plenty of food. So those kinds of things are really important.
Yeah, so
And
some
then
of
you
those
can
can be what you have as well as what you want to have.
exactly. And on those days that you're having a really hard day, just turning it around and saying thank you for, um, you know, God, I can't. My brain isn't even at it yet. But
Thank you
just
for my beautiful plants that make me happy when
yes,
I walk into the room. You know,
exactly.
that kind of
See,
thing.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I'm seeing that beautiful plant behind you.
Yeah, oh
Um,
yeah, there's all of them. I guess you're gonna have to come in and see all the dead things I have.
that doesn't look dead. That looks very much alive and very
Well, that
pretty.
one, yeah,
Yeah.
that one is a vine. But yes,
So it does
there's
well on its own. See, that's my problem with the green stuff. I need things that can, I can grow the shit out of a green onion because
mhm,
those things will grow on the side of the road in mud.
mhm, mhm. No,
They will grow on your
exactly.
counter,
Yeah,
with nothing.
yeah,
But the stuff that actually needs some nurturing, that's a good one. A
yeah,
garden journal. Like
yeah.
I probably should start a garden journal. Like
See,
what I want to do, and it might actually help me keep on track
when
of.
you're watering things, because I always forget, and then I either overwater or underwater, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, when
Well,
was the last time I watered this?
and I
You know what?
think I,
Have I ever told you about my most successful tomato plant?
no.
Well,
Do tell, because
okay,
maybe we
okay.
can use this.
Oh, you should. See, this will be an excuse for getting chickens.
Oh,
Because we
okay.
lived in Yuma. We lived in Yuma
The armpit
and
of
we
hell.
were well, I love Yuma, but it definitely is an armpit of something. Uh,
Well, it is
it's
on the
it's
equator.
right, right. Um, but like, it's the desert. It's the actual desert. And like we had chickens, we had 6 chickens, and we would like throw our like compost out there whenever we were done eating or whatever, so that they could eat whatever. And I guess I threw out some of my salad to feed the chickens, and I had a flower bed with like vegetables and stuff in it, and it wasn't growing. And then one day I came out there and there were 3 tomato plants growing in my yard. And what had happened is the chickens had eaten like tomatoes that I had fed them and then pooped in my yard, and they grew tomatoes. I did nothing. I didn't even know they were there. I didn't water them.
The chickens were gardening for you.
The chickens grew me 3 successful tomato plants, and they grew big tomatoes for me. I didn't water them. I didn't touch them. I just suddenly had 3 tomato plants because I fed them tomatoes, and they shit out tomato seeds that grew me some tomatoes. Yes, that is the only time I have ever
Well,
been
they do
successful.
say there is enzymes and stuff in the chicken poop. It's my niece is very much into holistic stuff, but she's also into agriculture. She has a degree in it from the University of Hawaii, and she teaches self-sustainable farming.
Yeah.
And one of the things that she told me to do was save all my bunny poop and put it in
Okay.
my composting.
Sure.
And
That's
I saved my coffee grounds, all my
okay.
egg. Well, I mean, we have a composter, so
Yeah.
and it turns I mean, it's an electric one. It's the Lomi. It sits on our counter, and we throw everything in there, and it turns it into not really. I mean, it really
Compost.
dehydrates everything in it. So it's a
Yeah.
type of compost, but you have to put it in real dirt. And,
Right.
I want to get a actual composting bin with worms and shit in it so it can really
Okay.
work the
Yeah.
the ground and pull that dirt out to put it in your garden. And there are healthy worms to have in your garden.
Yeah.
Ground worms are healthy.
Right.
They don't climb up on the plants and eat them and kill them. They only crawl
Right.
through the ground, and they're constantly like regenerating that soil is what those worms are doing. So those
Right.
worms are healthy for your garden.
Right.
So you can put them in your composting and they will work that and stuff. And then I have saved up, like, my son hates that I use coffee pods. Absolutely
Okay.
hates
Yeah.
it. He's like,
Sure.
it's so bad for the environment.
Yeah.
So I have found a way to recycle them that makes it somewhat good for the environment, because when you're going to do seedlings and you're going to start your
Yeah.
starters, you need something for them to start in. And those plastic little containers have
That's a great way to do that.
a mesh
Yeah.
seat in it. They have coffee grounds that are kind of stuck in it. And coffee grounds are good for your composting. So
Yeah.
we take the coffee grounds out, we take the eggshells and we munch them up and put it in there, and then we take our composting and we mix that in there with soil. And I'm going to use those as my starter containers because, one, they're white. I can
Yep.
write on them with a Sharpie what it is and the
Yep.
date that I started
Yep.
that seedling, and put those in there. And then I can say, okay, these ones started in February. These ones
Yep.
started in March, because
Yep.
different
It's a smart idea.
different seeds have to
Absolutely.
start at a different time. But that would be
Absolutely.
great for my journaling, is to be
Yeah.
able to grab the book, write down what I planted, what
What's
my
working,
goal
what's
is to
not.
plant
Yeah.
the next time, when I
Yeah.
watered, keeping a water schedule. So
Do you
there's
think you'll
probably
keep a digital? Do you think you'll keep a digital or a written?
okay, so that's where I think that's a good question for all of the journaling questions
Right.
is, are you old school or are you new school? I'm both.
Right. I struggle because
Like,
I want to be digital, but I am so old school. But I
yeah,
have my tablet and I want to write in my tablet.
yeah.
I want to use my tablet.
So I did do this, and maybe we can do this together. We
Yeah.
need to do a together journal type of
Yeah.
thing. But I did go and buy that digital journal, the one that can
Yeah.
go on your iPad or whatever.
Yeah.
I bought it. I paid
Okay.
money for it.
Okay.
And it's so that you can turn it in and it feels,
right. Yeah.
because you can use the pen to write on it,
Right.
and you can write and then it'll turn it into text or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you can leave it in your handwriting. I prefer it in my handwriting because I do actually
Right.
have really good handwriting. So I can
Right.
read my shit. My husband writes anything. If it digitally changed what it said, it would be la la la. That's what it would find. That's what it would discover, he said. Because
Yeah.
there is no my husband should have been a doctor,
Right.
because he can write
His
a great
writing is fun.
he can write a great prescription. You would never know what kind of drug you're taking.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's actually what happens with pharmacists.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's part of the drug problem. They're like, that looks like
That's what,
I'm
that's
giving
what
this.
she said.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'm torn between the two, because
Right.
I like a
Yeah.
book. I like a book,
Right. Exactly.
but I also like reading a book digitally.
Freaking
So
Gen Xers.
I'm
Right.
I kind of go back and forth between the two. So like at home, I would prefer to have an actual book.
Right.
But if I travel, I'm okay with a digital book.
Right. Because I don't want all the weight. I just want the
Right.
one thing. Like,
Right.
you
I
know?
can have 6 books in my phone. Whereas if you pack 6 books in your suitcase, that means 6 pair of shoes you can't take.
Exactly. Exactly.
I
Yeah.
want the shoes.
Right. 100%.
So so I am torn between them. I also have an addiction to journals. That's the problem. I love the pretty. I mean,
I
this
like
isn't
the
a
touch.
journal, but I
Right.
love the pretty. I like the touch. I like the texture. I like the pretty and embossing. I have so many cool. I like the sayings on them. I buy them. I buy the journals based on what they say on the outside. And then
Right.
I like ones that on the inside have like a little quote at the bottom, or have a Bible scripture or something like that. And I do like ones that have like at least a question
Right.
and a date, maybe a place to put the date at the top. But I'm also not a consistent journaler.
Right.
I journal when the mood strikes, not like I would like to get back to like writing in a journal every day. So I also just started a ambulance journal.
Okay.
I started a journal for our ambulance and where we're going with that. We do have to come up with a name for her.
Betty.
Well, we named her Amber Lynn.
Okay.
Because like Amber
then why
Lynn,
did you say
Amber,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
because Amber
You have a
Lynn,
name.
because
You have
Amber
a name.
Lynn is one of the most famous porn stars. It was pointed out to me, why did you name your ambulance after a porn star?
Oh no. Yeah,
And I
don't
was
do
like,
that.
I
Oops.
can't drive down the road with the name Amber Lynn on it. If
No.
every man driving down the road be like, all right, I know what goes on in there. So I'm like, yeah, I don't want it to be called that. So, we want a good name for it. Our last name is Albee, and, we are going to put something on there. Like instead of it saying ambulance, it's going to say abundance. Yeah, we have to come up with a name for it. So anyway, that's going to suck because I have like I have the fuel journal,
Yeah.
maintenance journal. So like when we did maintenance, what it cost, when we did oil change, all that stuff. But every single journal, I got like 3 for it. One that's a journal of our trips, one that's what we want to do with it, as far as like changes inside, and then one for the maintenance. And they all say in big, huge letters on the outside of it, Amber Lynn. So we're taking names for to change Amber Lynn's name to something else because I don't want it named after a porn star.
No.
Yeah, that's just a no. But I want to keep a journal of what we're doing with the ambulance, and you know, you and I are going to be using it a lot for our art stuff, and doing events and everything like that. So, you know, I don't want 2 girls running down the road with the name Amberlyn on it.
No,
When
that's not safe.
People would
Nothing
think,
good comes from that.
no. And the sad part is 90% of it would be men that know the name, but it was a woman who
Right.
reminded me that that's a porn star. So I was like, oops,
Oopsie. Yeah. Yeah.
because I never thought of it. I was like, yeah,
Right.
you're actually right. That is a porn star.
Yeah.
So journaling on paper or digitally, either way is good. Do whichever you makes you actually do it. So it shouldn't matter if you are old school. Pull out, you know, your journal and use that. If you're not, and you are modern, and you can do it digitally. And then if you need that modern feeling of writing with a pen, and you know, tablets now, you can get a pen. If you don't have the type 1 that comes with a pen, you can get a pen that can sync to it. But they have these digital journals that you can buy on like Etsy or whatever, and they're pages, and you download them into your thing, and they even have calendars and all that stuff, and you can write on them like a normal journal. So that's kind of cool. The one I think I got was a planner and journal, so it kind of helps. But either way, just do it. I think that's the most important thing. Do you think that people should make a schedule on journaling? Like, should they do it the same time of day? What makes it where people might be a little more consistent with doing it on a regular basis?
If they can get into a routine or a habit, it's best, honest, at least to start. So like taking a gratitude or an affirmation. So at the end of the day, before you go to bed, just really quickly saying thank you for things that happened during the day that you're grateful for. When you wake up in the morning, real quickly writing down things that your affirmations in the morning, that kind of thing is good. Doing your reflective journal at night or in the morning is good, that kind of thing. But you know, just getting in that habit, you'll find that when you start that, you'll find a better time and what fits for you depending on what the journal is, and then you'll just make sense of it. But to
Well,
start out, because
yeah.
it's a new habit, just schedule a time that makes sense.
Start somewhere and find a place that might be quick and easy. And
Exactly.
I think for me, it has to be in my face. I have to see it. If I don't see it, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to
Right.
acknowledge it. I think like for
So
me,
for you, a paperback would probably make sense. Or if you see your tablet, would you instantly think I need to journal when you see your tablet?
No, probably not.
So you, okay.
For me, I probably is more of a book version.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of different types of journals, and you know, it's going to get the flow going for me because it's in different places and different parts.
Yeah.
Like I would put my morning journal literally right there next to the toilet.
Yeah.
I have a place where I have books and stuff, or not books, magazines, right in front of the toilet. You know, if you're there for a few minutes, you got something to do.
Yeah.
why not journal?
Absolutely.
You know, so I look at it like I would probably set up a little journaling station right there at the potty.
Yeah.
You know, because there are different times a day that you're there reflecting.
True story. Yeah.
So, you know, you can pull it out, and then you might find yourself doing it more often because
Yeah.
it's there and
Yeah.
in your face, and there's a pen. You know, set it up where there's, you know, and wherever you're going to do it. I think aesthetics is a big part of success with anything that you're doing. You know,
Right.
if you just have a book sitting on your piano,
Right.
is it going to really
Remind you.
remind you? So I'm
Right.
going to pull this out real quick.
Okay.
This is how I journal.
You have a feather pen.
I have a plume,
Uh-huh.
and it's actually got the ink. This is my journaling pen. I literally do it old
That's horribly
school.
fancy. That's horribly
Talk
fancy.
about old school.
Yeah.
Because
That's fancy.
I don't actually use this one. I use my purple one. I keep putting it in the wrong, the camera's not over here.
Nope.
But I use this one.
The
And,
puppies are crying.
oh, are they?
Yeah.
I can't hear them. But we got
That's
10 minutes left. Do you need to go early? But I like these. There's something about this feeling
Yeah.
of journaling when
Does it
I'm
motivate
using,
you or make you feel like crap if you miss your day?
no, I don't feel like crap.
Because that's the next thing is like, you got to ask yourself, am I setting myself up to feel like crap if I miss it? Because
And to be
that's
honest
not
with
the
you,
goal.
this is my favorite pen to use. It's a
Okay.
glass one.
Nice.
It holds a lot of ink, and it lasts
Mhm.
quite a while.
Yeah.
But what I use this one for, and why this one helps me a lot, is, sorry, I wasn't in the mic, but what I use this one for and why I like it the most is because I consider it like a timer. Because the ink only lasts on here so long before I'd
Okay.
have to refill it. So if I can just write a quick amount of my thoughts until the ink runs out, when the ink runs out, I wipe it down and I put it away.
Yeah.
And it's only for that period of time. Now, if I have a lot to say, I can re-ink it. But it makes the journaling a little funner for me. So like for me, if I were to set up, I'm going to put it on the book because you won't see it otherwise. But if I had like, okay, can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So if I had this set up, I'm just going to pull out a book. So if I had this, now this one says it's all talk, talk, talk. So if I had this set up sitting on somewhere that's right in my face, it's a reminder, but it's also pretty. It's aesthetic. It's like, oh, that's nice. You know, one of the things that I've wanted to do, which I never have done, and I probably should do it now that I really think about it. I want to have a visitor's journal.
Yeah.
Like one
Like a
that's
sign-in?
not a sign in, but like a journal when you're here visiting my house, with the pen and a journal that says something about, you know, visitor's journal. Write in what your favorite thing was about visiting, and have questions on the pages, you know, and just write a small paragraph of what your favorite thing is. And, you know, why did you come to visit? You know, were you coming for Christmas? Were you coming for birthday? Were you coming just for the holiday? Or were you coming just because you were coming into town and you were nearby? And it would be fun, like later in life, to pull out that journal and and remember those visits of people that came to see you, and
Yeah.
maybe you've lost connection with them,
Yeah.
and maybe you've lost them,
Yeah.
and having a journal with your visits.
Yeah.
I think it would be a cool thing to start. Like, I've never done
Yeah.
it, but I've thought about it a few times. I've never heard of it as a,
Yeah. Yeah.
visitor's journal, but
Yeah.
it could be a cool
Um,
thing.
I gave my brother a guest sign-in book, so you could do something similar. It's just a sign-in book for his guest room, and then they can write, their notes or whatever when they sign in.
that would be cool.
Yeah, and he's just got it on the nightstand in the guest room.
Oh,
So
that would be cool. Yeah, that's now that we have an actual guest room, I would do that
yeah,
in the guest room.
yeah.
I think that would be cool. Well, we have 6 minutes left, so
All right,
do you
we
want
did it.
do you want to, or do you have a quote that you want to share with us at all?
Do you want to read the Maya Angelou poem?
Um, yeah, that would be. Do you want to read it, or do you want me to read it? Is that what you were asking?
Either one is fine.
Will you read it while I pull out a?
No pressure, sure. Let me see.
Well, I
Hold
can
on.
read it. One or the other. Because I was going to have whoever is not reading pull up a picture of Maya Angelou, because we are honoring Black History Month, Black Heritage Month. We are honoring people that we admire in the Black community that
I can't read it very well on this thing.
I can read it if you can pull up a picture of Maya Angelou.
I can.
I found one. Never
Okay.
mind.
You got
found
it?
one. I did. I did. So
Okay.
I'm gonna pull this up
Great.
and share it with everybody. Let's see if I can present. Share my screen. All right. Can you see that?
We sure can.
All right. We can see that. And then I am going to pull up really quick. So, now you're familiar with Maya, right?
Right.
And what do you like about her?
I like her poetry. I honestly just know her as a author and a poet. But that's
Now, what I love about Maya is she is absolutely the most prolific writer to me.
okay.
Writing some of the things that I've read many, many, many times from her is her empowerment. Like, she
Yeah, I
was
agree
so
with that statement.
inspiring, and she was
Yeah.
so empowering,
Unapologetically so.
strong. But it was also her character. It was, and what I mean by that, it was how she presented. She
Yeah.
presented things in a way that, like, you would never, like, her words, the way that she said her words. And I'm going to actually see if I can find that real quick while we're talking. If you can, real quick, just share a little bit more, if you can, from what's on the screen. Just kind of read.
I can't see it. I can't see it. I could just see that it's on the screen.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, there we go. Hopefully this won't, hopefully it won't get flagged or anything like that, but I'm gonna play it. Can you hear that?
No. There's nothing playing. There's nothing playing.
Okay, you can't hear it.
Mm-mm.
All right. I was hoping you could hear it. And I don't know if you just couldn't hear it or if no one could hear it, but I have no way to tell if it was just you or if it was if it was everyone. So I'm going to pull it up and then I will just read it real quick. You have it, but it is really, really small.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull one up that's a little bit bigger so I can actually read it. So I have a art picture that I do that is a silhouette of a woman, and I put this poem on it. It's a black and white silhouette. The picture frame is white. There's some flowers on. It's beautiful and it's 3-dimensional. I should finish and make a new one and show it, but it is so beautiful. And in the woman's head is the words of phenomenal woman in white in her silhouette, and it looks so beautiful. So anyway, let me read this real quick, and then we will be done because our time is up. Phenomenal Woman by Maya Angelou. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I can't read apparently. Where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say, it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me. I walk into a room just as cool as you please. And to a man, the fellows stand or fall down to their knees. Then they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's the fire in my eyes and the flash of my teeth, the swing in my wrist and the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me. Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say, it's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the ride of my breast, and the grace of my style. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me. Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say, it's in the click of my heels. And where did it go?
The bend of my hair, the palm of my hand,
It literally.
the need of my care, the cause, because I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me.
Thank you for finishing it, because it literally was like, now you have to buy the rest of it. I was like,
Are
that
you
was
serious?
yeah, I'm serious. Like,
Oh no, that's a rude move.
That was a rude move, because I could have picked it from somewhere else, because it's everywhere. Yeah. Like, it's not hard to find the poem, but it's one of my favorite poems. And it is something that we can think about, because I am loud. I am a projecting person, but you don't always have to be, you can leave something to the mystery. But, I read her book, And Still I Rise. It's an amazing book. I have several of her books, and I just am so honored to have ever been able to read anything or watch anything and hear her, that she was in an era that I lived in. she is somebody that I can admire because I got to watch her in real life. I got to see her. I didn't get to go to an event or anything like that, but I got to actually see her on TV, talking or interviews, or, she's a person from my actual era, not just something I only read about in books or only got to hear about. She's somebody who I actually got to admire and see. So for that, I thank her for the empowerment that she gave me as a woman. And a lot of the things that I have taken over my life were a lot because of the things that I read and watched, the way she talked and the way she held herself. It was just incredible and amazing. So with that, that's going to be our devotional for the day. In honor of Maya Angelou, she was the kindest, sweetest person. She always spoke so tenderly and so lovingly. I'm trying to find one that does not have a swear word in it in honor of her. Okay. That's not. Oh man, this one's hard. I'm having a difficult time. I didn't realize how, I knew these were sarcastic and stuff, but I can't get it out of the thing. So say something. Help me here.
What are we doing?
I'm trying to find a quote, and it's just dead silence listening to me talk about getting it out of the box. This is about the closest one I can say. You're doing great. Keep that shit up.
There you go.
There you go.
Good job.
All right. For that, we are 6 minutes behind because we kind of started that poem late trying to find it. But we had it. It was just a little too small for me to read from here. I guess I could have pulled it up on my phone and then it would have been closer. But anyway, it's done. We're good. And please like, subscribe, and follow. And you can go to any of our socials, our Girl Talks, GURLTAUX, and find us there. We will get back to having the stream correct so that we're not having StreamYard's logo on it. We'll get back to our branding and having our theme song here shortly. I am making those changes now. I've done a little bit of reviews on where we're going to go, our new home, because we're not going to succumb to the pirating that StreamYard has done by doubling their prices. So we are finding a new home for our streaming service, and when we get that fixed, we will have all of our stuff back. So until then, we will still be here. And we can only stream to one channel now, unlike before where we could do YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So we will only be airing on YouTube, and we will share on Facebook that we are on YouTube and the link every day. So we will see you there. Please come and join us. And we are here from 10 to 11:30 Central Standard Time. And again, you can follow all of our socials. And if you do want to email us, you can email us any of your questions or concerns or anything like that. You can email us at our email, and mine is Tori@girltalks.com, or Christy's is Christy girltalks.com. Thank you and have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.